Hey, everybody. Hey, Sherelle.
Hey.
I just want to let the room load for a little bit. We're going to be talking about some breaking news that just came out about the Snowdens, which I had not planned on. So I'm going to let the room load for a second. I'm going to start the countdown, and then we're going to talk about it.
Sounds good.
And then as soon as I get all the way down to my overlay and all the way down, all these screenshots, there we go, video clips there. Okie dokie. So, this was a very unexpected live because we're going to be going live in about 20 minutes to talk about the Housewives. So I'm trying to squeeze this in because it just came out. But TMZ has just reported that, we spoke, I think, on a couple days back about how Dimitri was filing for divorce against Chrissy. And a lot of people, including myself, were like, oh, they were married. According to everybody, that Dimitri he never married Ashley. There's no marriage at all. But so today, just now, a couple hours ago, exclusive, Seeking Sister Wife star files for divorce. And now he's claiming that Chrissy abandoned the marriage. So his grounds for divorce are predicated on the fact that Chrissy took off and left the marriage. So if TMZ is reporting on this, I would have to assume that it's true, that they are legally married. Mm-hmm. And my only thought to that would be because she was in South Africa, and it probably would have been easier for her and her kids to come here on some type of either a K-1 visa or, some type of visa to make it more smooth for the transition. Because, even commenting and posting about this stuff now, people are saying, oh, he's not married to anybody. He's not married to Ashley. He's not married to, but if TMZ is saying that he married Chrissy. I believe it. They're pretty accurate with stuff like this, right, Sherelle?
Yeah. What doesn't make sense to me, though, is she accused him of putting hands on her. What did he expect her to stay in the country? I'm confused.
Well,
does that make sense? Abandonment?
I'm just going to, it doesn't. And we know about, the restraining order that she placed on them. And then we know what Ari's also told us about everything.
Yeah.
So let me just read what TMZ has to say about this. 2:44 p.m. Pacific time on today. According to legal docs obtained by TMZ, Dimitri claims that Chrissy abandoned their marriage and he doesn't know her whereabouts. And as Ari had already claimed, that Chrissy and the other two girls, Vanessa and Taylor, they're all in hiding.
Wow.
So, that would corroborate, what Ari's been saying. And pretty much everything Ari's said has been on point.
Yeah.
Just the stuff that she knew about what I knew without, what made me believe Ari right away is that when I did that first live about the kidnapping, she knew I never mentioned anyone's names. She knew his name. She knew what was going on. She knew when it happened. So I was like, okay, this is somebody who knows what's up. Mm-hmm. And Ari claimed that all three, Vanessa, Taylor, and Chrissy, were all in hiding. So Dimitri doesn't know her whereabouts. So TMZ is saying that they got married on July 9th, 2020.
July 9th, 2020. Okay.
So just almost a year ago.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they have the marriage certificate. That's an exact date. You know what I mean? So, mm-hmm. And the date of separation is listed as January 21st of this year. So they got married in July 9th of last year, and then they got separated in January 21st of this year. Seeking Sister Wives star Dimitri Snowden is here's Perry.
Hey, what's up, people?
Hey, I'm just reading what TMZ's writing. Seeking Sister Wives star Dimitri Snowden is divorcing his third wife, another chapter in what's been a problematic last few weeks between the two, which included accusations of domestic. Dimitri filed for divorce from Chrissy Tuesday in LA. The two do not have any children together. Dimitri's divorce filing comes on the heels of Chrissy's attempt at getting a restraining order placed against him, claiming he was physically as we first told you, Chrissy claimed Dimitri slammed her head into a headboard of their bed back in January, and she said that he was abusive during,
Intimate
times. She claimed that he during those times, and even though she told him not to, and claimed she suffered bruises, scratches, and redness around her neck from the alleged that Dimitri and Chrissy were in court last month for a hearing on the matter, and the judge tossed the case, saying that Chrissy did not meet the burden of proof. So that RO was dissolved, and here we are now. So Chrissy lost the RO case, and right after that, Dimitri filed for divorce against her. So they're clearly married. They got married.
Yeah. The whole thing is kind of complicated, though. I mean, you had Lisa Ham on the show, and she was saying that marriage means different things in different countries or something like this. Does she have to come back to file the divorce papers? I'm confused.
Well, no, he filed against her.
Okay, and then he will dissolve it here, because that's what Lisa was saying. If you file the paperwork here, then that will dissolve it, and then she'll probably never come back here, right?
Right. I mean, neither she can come back and contest it, or not, right? But the whole thing with me, in my opinion, he's being slick by saying, "Hey, forget what happened. She abandoned the relationship, right? And you could file for divorce under those grounds, but why did the person abandon the relationship? That's the part he don't want to talk about, right?
Well, also, like the fact that, like, he waited to do this until she lost in court against him. Like, as soon as she lost in court against him with the RO, then he doubled down and said, "Well, now that I have the ball's in my court, I'm going to go ahead and file for divorce against you."
Right. Because he's trying to he basically trying to save his money, save the show, and act like it's just a crazy chick. You feel me?
You think he's trying to save the show?
No, save.
He's trying to save his ass.
Okay, yeah, he's saving his ass, which is saving the show, which is paying him money.
Right? You agree, John?
No, according to what I've heard from
it's not the show, John?
And other people, like he's allegedly not wonderful. Okay.
Right.
So this would make sense in my head, thinking, okay, well, now I just beat her in court about the RO, so let me go ahead and file against her. So now, now it looks like to a judge, oh, she just tried to get a restraining order against me and it failed, and now false, blah blah blah, and let me try to get the wind back in my sails. Is how I do it.
Oh no, I get it. But what I'm saying is, but he's doing all this to save himself and to save the show, right? Or no, you don't agree?
Well, I don't get where you're coming from. How is he trying to say?
Okay. If this go bad, right, and all this stuff go to court, and she's proven right, he's gonna lose that show. He's trying to save himself plus the show. That's where he's getting his income from.
Well, we know that he's like obsessed with being famous from him dating, actors and actresses, every person he seems to go on after, Ari is in SAG, Vanessa has acting credits. I think even Taylor did a couple of acting jobs. So, and Ari had said that, like, his main goal was to be out there, be famous, and Ari was way before the show ever started. He was dating actresses way before they were ever on TLC. So he's always been trying to promote himself and his brand. So yeah, I agree with Perry that he's trying to save himself. But as far as the show goes, it's TLC. They haven't said anything about any of this. Look how they handled the Duggars.
Right. I got you.
They haven't said anything, John?
They have not said an iota, nothing, not zero about what's going on.
That's bad. Perry, are you also saying that you think they will continue the show, TLC, as long as the ratings are good?
As long as those ratings stay good.
That's bad.
They gonna make that money. And like I said, for him, as long as he don't get the waters muddied too much by being proven guilty of something, the show got a better chance of staying afloat. And
the waters are muddied, though. And this show is messy as hell. Like, I don't think they need to keep the Snowdens on it. Like, they're not like, the bread and butter of Seeking Sister Wives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they can keep going with a different family in their place if they wanted to do that.
Right. No, I got you. But I'm saying, but his thinking is he get to keep himself viable, right? By keeping all his dirt under the carpet, right? And then just keep the show as long as he can. Yeah. But I agree with you, though. I mean, it comes to a point where something don't really truly have to be proven. But you can check it out and say, hey, it's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good look to have this continue on the show.
This is sad, John. This means he might get away with it, doesn't it?
The sad part is that he's been getting away with this for years, and like, Ari said, there are hundreds, or 100, either way, it's gross, women that have, it's like a revolving door of people in and out of that household. And then they're like, oh, nothing's wrong. They just, after we got married and the cameras are gone, things just changed. Like, okay, come on. Every time the cameras are gone, like, they're all like taken out like bats out of hell.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. I mean, that's what makes your interview even more important, John, because it looks like he might get away with this. At least you put it out there for the public to know what's really going on. That's just disgusting. It looks like he's going to get away with this. It's disgusting.
I mean, the sad part is that TLC just really turns a blind eye to.
Yeah.
I was reading that article, which we kind of touched on when we were just on Sherelle's Way, like, a few minutes ago, about TLC adding another spinoff, like the Caribbean edition, now, because they see that they're making so much money off 90 Day. And now there's like, I couldn't even count on 10 hands how many spinoffs there are now. I mean, there's just so many. And, TLC at the end of the day only really cares about TLC. I mean, that article wrote that they are the second most watched network on TV on Sunday nights. Like, that's including networks like Fox. The only network that's beating TLC out for cable on Sunday nights is CBS. I mean, they're beating Fox, NBC, ABC,
Bravo.
All this money they're making from 90 Day. And let's make 10 more spinoffs. And it's just like the stuff with the Snowdens or the Duggars, or, let's turn a blind eye to it because we're making money. We know that TLC doesn't pay the cast shit. They pay them nothing. And they're laughing all the way to the bank with all these, horror stories coming out about the people who they continually put on TV. How many years have the Duggars been on TV?
Yeah. They turn a blind eye to the Duggars. What was the guy? Jacob Roloff. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Stephanie from 90 Day Fiance.
And then, there was the K+8 drama, all that stuff that went down with them. I mean, like, there's nothing ever. I can't think of any real success story from TLC, and it just I don't know. And like we're all TLC bloggers, right? All three of us here. You know, we all talk about the shows. But to me, it just seems like, I tried out for reality TV, right? I auditioned for a few different shows, and like the first question that anybody in casting always asked me was, have you ever been on a TV show before? And if your answer was yes, they were like, okay, bye. They didn't want anybody who was on TV, or they wanted fresh faces. Someone who doesn't already have a backstory, someone like that, and it just seems like now these days, everybody that they're hiring has, Perry, you're on 2 streams with me.
Hold on, give me a second.
I have two Perrys.
Yeah, my bad.
It's fine. No, I see it backstage. You don't have to do anything. I just see it.
Okay. Let me see.
But it just seems like all they care about now is that money, that good money that they're making, and the ratings that they're making.
Yeah.
And now Perry kicked himself out. Hold on. There. Okay. There you are.
Someone in the chat said that they also had a problem with the little couple. What they did?
I'm sure they've had problems everywhere. Like I can't cover every show. Nobody can. Like it's just me. I don't. But
it's just kind of sickening. I mean, geez.
TLC's been plagued with this stuff, and like it doesn't get any better, and it just keeps getting worse.
And to me, is TLC kind of worse than any other network? We kind of don't hear this stuff about Bravo, do we? I don't think so.
I mean, Bravo has its own issues with the Housewives and Andy with certain stories, and he has favorites, but that's this is just, if this was Bravo, half these shows would have been gone already.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Do you remember when Bravo came through and fired a whole bunch of people for being racially insensitive? Remember, like Stassi,
Vanderpump Rules and all that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at least they did something. TLC is really turning a blind eye. They don't do anything.
TLC will be like, oh, look, with Lisa, right? Like, oh, we let go of Lisa. Well, comparing what Lisa did to Josh Duggar, she's like Mother Teresa, or who else?
Even Big Ed's behavior is questionable.
Look at Ed. Look at Brittany. There's a lot of stuff that's going on with the cast, but they were like, we're making money, so who cares?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, how many people have come forward against Ed?
Yeah.
And said they've had issues with him.
Oh,
and what does TLC say? Oh, let's put him on a spinoff. Let's let the Single Life. Let's let
Yep.
Jeez.
I agree.
Well, I'm glad that you're covering them, John. You watch him like a hawk. Don't let him get away with anything.
Well, the thing is, I don't think we mentioned this. We were going to talk about it, and then I heard about this. But, I've been watching the Snowdens for 2 years now. I think we were talking about this backstage. I don't think we said this on camera.
Yeah.
And, I've seen what's been going on, and there just never seemed like a right time to me to say something about it. I knew about that alleged kidnapping 2 or 3 years ago. But, at that time I was still I was really, just coming up, and nobody knew really, and that show was new. So it was just kind of fell on deaf ears the first time. I was like, But now with, the restraining order and the divorce and all this stuff, and then Josh Duggar, I felt like this was the right time to revisit this. And, because if people aren't going to pay attention to it now, then there's no hope for the world.
Well, that's true.
Now, I was doing a story on Josh Duggar, and I know that there was a petition started, but just for Josh, not for TLC. Maybe people need to pull together. And at the time that I did the story a couple days ago, it was only 6,000 signatures. So.
Oh, look at this. There are so many copycats now hopping on John's story. Well, what else?
Oh, there are.
you know how it is. You know, when you have a story, you know, we're all in the biz, right? So like obviously that will happen. But it just like you know, what do we do as bloggers, right? And as human beings, you know, all of us are TLC and Bravo bloggers. Like, you know, we wear those hats. So, and most of our following is, you know, from TLC or Bravo. So what do we say? Boycott TLC. Don't watch the shows. That we don't stop talking about them. Yeah. Like, what do we do about it as people who report on these shows? Like, how do we make any sense out of this? Like, do we tell people to keep watching these shows that are doing these people dirty? But then, like, if we do that, then we're hurting ourselves. It's very tricky.
Yeah.
Really, we're all helpless. TLC's a big machine, and if they don't do anything about it,
you know, if all three of us said, like, I went live and said, boycott TLC, stop it. No one's gonna listen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only thing I think that we can do is bring light to these things, and hopefully, if enough people hear it, then maybe something will get done about it. You know, I never expected to have 90,000 views with the Ari interview. Never in a million years would I ever thought that. I mean, I've been a YouTuber and a blogger a blogger longer than a YouTuber, but like for 6 years, I've only had 2 stories break 100K views on YouTube. Mm-hmm. One was when I interviewed Aladdin right after the first Other Way tell-all when him and Laura are going at it. And the other one was, you know, 6 months ago when I interviewed Larissa after she had gotten fired. And this is like coming up, you know, so I can look at things and I'm like, these are times when people are paying attention. So, you know, you better strike while the iron's hot.
That's why you have to keep reporting on him, John. You've got to follow him like a hawk, because it's getting the word out there, what's going on. And, you know, and at this point, you are those women only voice. I know that's a lot to put on your shoulders. It's true. It's true. Like, you've got to just keep doing what you're doing because people are watching.
No, and I'm happy they are, you know. I just, you know, and I don't want to say who I've spoken to in this.
Right.
In the Speaking Sister. No, you can't. Cody, shut up. Well, but, you know, a lot of people are appreciative and just getting the stuff out there, which is like the most important thing. What time is it? Okay, we have time. We have 8 minutes before Housewives.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep up. Yeah, and I'm sure that there's going to be more to come. And I just feel bad because, like, you know, how do you report on something that's so egregious, right? But then you still watch the show and support it at the same time. What are your thoughts on that, to both of you who are like in the same, like, you know, place I am?
Now I get it, right? But the whole thing is this, right? Like, the problem, TLC can allow things to happen, but we can voice our opinions about certain shows that's morally wrong, right? And hopefully they can just get rid of that show where we can continue doing what we're doing. You understand what I'm saying?
Or like, that person.
I don't want them to get rid of the show. I don't.
Or that person.
You know,
well, no, I mean,
those people need to be off. Absolutely.
When I say the show, the people that's on that show that's causing the havoc, right? And just like I think the Duggars should be gone, the whole damn family, in my opinion. But
it should have been gone after like
you can replace them with the Smiths.
Yeah.
You know, like they should have been gone. And then what they do, they just rename the show Counting On. You know,
and
the father is still the only one getting paid. Like, who is doing the payroll at TLC? Like, only Jim Bob gets paid the money out of, you know, 20 kids, 100 grandkids. Michelle with her split bang that probably needs all the money in the world. You know, like
John,
I just don't get it.
They don't care. If I can hire you, and I know you're gonna subcontract whether you pay your people or not, and you bring in another 20 people, I'm gonna hire you, send you one check. That's it. That's what's going on.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And they're not worrying about the person they paying the check to and whether he's paying the people that's helping them. They don't care about that.
You shouldn't feel guilty anyway, John. They're not going to cancel that show or make what's his name, Dimitri, accountable at all. So what you're doing is you're holding him accountable. So don't feel guilty, because that show isn't going to get canceled no matter what anyone does. Even if you boycott it, they're still going to air it because they're still going to get numbers. So don't feel guilty while you're watching it. Know that you are these women's only voice right now. And
I get that. And listen, like now that they're out there, like, there's a lot of people they can talk to. So I'm happy to have helped them get to that point. But it just like, it just makes me feel like, because everyone's like, boycott, stop watching. And they're right. They're right. They are right. It's not right what's being aired. It's not right that certain people are on TV. Mm-hmm. And I have to agree with them. But then, like, what do? The show is still on, and it's like a lose-lose situation.
No, you keep holding Dimitri accountable. And I bet you there are more women out there, because he's been doing this for a while.
A long time. A long time. We're almost at about 10 years of this going on.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they've been at this for, I think him and Ashley met in 2011 or 2012. So it's been around that 10-year mark. And ever since him and Ashley have been like together, this has been like, that's why I have like no like empathy for Ashley, at all.
I'm thinking at this point they are hoping that you go away, because it's obvious you ruffled her skin when she put out that statement, and so it's just you talking about it now. So they're hoping, he'll go away. That's why you can't go away.
Well, here's the thing. I touched on this like 2 or 3 years ago when I first found the information. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, And I talked about it, and then it just fell flat. Dimitri actually watched it and did like an IG live about like how like I don't know what I'm talking about. Like these internet people who just find things, and he's not saying that now. No, you're not, are you, Dimitri? So
he did an IG live on it.
Yeah, he did. He was very like, oh, look at these people trying to find stuff on. This was like 3 years ago. But, it was like the perfect storm right now with the Duggars and TLC and everything else. And, a TLC blog, a 90 Day Fiance is what everybody pretty much knows me from. And that's a TLC show. So I'm trying not to really dog the network so much. It's given me kind of my platform, because it has,
Right.
But you got to call a spade at the end of the day. So
right. No, I got you. But you know what, though, John? At the end of the day, in life is short too, right? So you go through life, you have a platform, and you see something that's wrong. You might not be the guy that represent them in court, for justice, but you can bring awareness to it, and then others can pick it up and take it. That has the means to take it from there, and that's all you can do. And as far as like going at the network, nobody's going at the network. We're just saying, hey, this is shiesty. Open your eyes, see what we're seeing. So hopefully they can make their adjustments and solve the problem. Whether it works or not, sometimes you can open somebody's eyes and they make corrections. Sometimes they choose to blow it off. But at this point, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do. And if you feel it's right in your heart to do it, that's what you do.
Good for you, John. Good job.
All right. Yeah. Well, all right. So let's end this. So just to recap real quick, Dimitri is saying that, they're legally married. They got married. So my guess, I think everyone's guess, is probably to get her over here faster, to expedite her and her kids being here. that's the only reason why I could see them legally getting married. So they got married last year. They separated in January of this year. Dimitri is saying that Chrissy has abandoned the marriage. They can't find her. But we already know that Ari has said that they're on hiding to stay away from him. And that's pretty much the recap of the show. So let me end this for right now. Now, if anybody's Real Housewives fans, it's 8:59. So in like a minute, we're scheduled to go live and talk about Jersey and other stuff on the Housewives. So I'm going to end this, and then I need like a minute. So I'm going to end this. We'll probably start 10 minutes late. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Perry and Sherelle. And
all right, John.
We'll be live in 10 more minutes. Talking about, gotta shut this switch off and flip that one back on. And do you feel like that? Like when you're talking about things, like you gotta flip it up and then like flip it down and like rearrange the stuff in your brain.
Yeah,
I can't.
You get to change gears, my man. You get to do it. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so guys, give us 10 minutes to change gears. We'll be back on this channel in 10 minutes talking about Housewives. Thank you, everybody, for the chat. I will see you shortly, I hope. All right, bye. I'm gonna go backstage. I'm just gonna end this. Okay, bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.